Good morning, it's Leanne Peters here, and this is personal healing event for patrons. This is for some of my patrons for September. Thank you so much for your support. So I have 5 people on my healing list today, and I've put you in this Dragon Power cup. I've put your names onto little pieces of paper. I'm going to pull your name out of there as we flow through for the next sort of hour. So welcome. So yeah, it's an interesting energy around, isn't it? Like, I'm feeling very introspective. So it's going to be very interesting to see how much or how we go today, because I've got no doubt in the connections. It's just, yeah, and maybe it's a personal thing. So it's going to be interesting to see and tap into that energy and help that also shift things. So yeah, whether you're on the list or not today, I think it's going to be very interesting to see what comes up. So like I always say in these types of events, it's no accident that you happen to be here. So whether you're waiting for me to pull your name out or whether you just happen to randomly be here, I do trust that you've been led here for a reason. And I get emails all the time from people who are not even on the healing list who happen to stop in and they receive something really helpful. So allow whatever comes through to help shift things for you personally. And what I would really suggest is that you be open to listening and hearing and feeling in your body what you need from this experience and this healing journey today. And we'll see what happens. So let's let go of expectations and allow ourselves to be surprised. So, hi Jayne, welcome. So the intention is that I'll be pulling your name out of the cup, and then I'll let you know whose name I've called. Then I'm going to pull a healing energy card. I'll connect and talk about whatever's loudest in your energy. So basically how that works is whatever's loudest in your vibration is going to get my attention first. And then I will be talking through and sharing what I'm picking up in regards to that, which is loudest. And then we'll do anything that we need to do to help balance things out or shift things or whatever might be needed. I basically trust my judgment on that and my intuition at the time and what makes sense. And then I'll pull another healing energy card to finish that off. So each connection will go for around 10 minutes. And yeah, we'll see. So allow energy to move. If I am connecting with you, allow what you need to come through. Remembering that often what we need and what we want are 2 very different things. And sometimes that's a bit of a difficult thing to kind of juggle or come to terms with, because we can go down that path of what we want for and it works quite well for quite an amount of time, and then suddenly it contradicts with what we need. And so then what we want is kind of either put aside, or even sometimes we have to end or close the door on some things that we really want, because actually what we need doesn't align with what we want at that time. So it's an interesting kind of dynamic I've noticed that plays out in life. So I think that's all I really need to say to get started. So take a nice big breath and be open to receiving what you need for the duration of your attendance here. So I have 5 people on the list today, and the first person is this person. It's KantiDevi Wedad. Take a nice big breath and let's see which healing energy card you need to begin with. Dragon Power. It's interesting. All right, Kanti. Okay, so the best healing energy card to begin this connection is this one here. It's being resistless. The opposite of resistance. Resistant. Being resistant to something, I don't want to do it, to being resistless. So having no resistance. It's an interesting idea. It's card 83, being resistless. It's in the action category. And down here it says release resistance, fear and anxiety, and go for it. It is safe for you to proceed. Trust in the unfolding. Be surprised. Don't hesitate. And summon your courage. So there is this sense of movement here in this illustration, in this energy, as you, KantiDevi, are moving towards something. It's almost like a vortex or a light that's pulling you in. It's enticing you. It's been pulling you for some time. And the closer you get to it, the stronger the pull is. And in fact, sometimes the closer we get to something like this, the bigger and louder the resistance is as well. So you've been encouraged to really let the resistance go. And I feel the resistance represented by this rock. This is like a river stone that's been carved out by the water over eons of time, or a long, long period of time. And it's created these rings in the river stone, like the rings of a tree. But this feels like the resistance that's being left behind. This is the fear. This is the anxiety. This is the doubt. This is the wondering. This is all the stuff that the armor, the weight, the burden that's carried, that is stopping this, almost this last phase of this part of your journey. So it's like leaving this behind, like a rock that you're leaving behind on your path, and, you know, thanking it for what it's taught you, but not carrying it with you in this next part of your journey. And I see you here barefoot, so it's like you're bearing all, you're vulnerable, you're exposed, you're fragile in some ways, and you might still be afraid, but this sense of movement, you can't deny this pull. The pull is so strong. It's like a pull on your heart, like your future self has sent out or shot out at you from a bow, an arrow with a suction cup on it from the future, that suction cup to your heart. And this future self is pulling you to that future element, or that future part of you, that future part of your life that is calling you and pulling you so strongly. So the pull is from your heart, but the pull is from your future self that really sees what your potential is and what you do have available to you in the future, let's say. So this part of you is enticing you. It's like dangling that carrot, and it's been dangling there for a while, because I feel like I've been talking about this with you for some time, maybe several months now. And not that I remember specifics, but I just feel this similar feeling, but it's getting stronger and it's getting louder as well. So trust in this pull and let your insecurities and your fear and your anxiety, let your resistance go. Leave it behind now in your path. Take the armor off that you've got that you're guarding yourself with, or that's keeping you guarded and keeping you hesitant and keeping you from sort of flowing and moving, instead of feeling like you have to know all the details or know the ins and outs and the, you know, the whole list, the whole description of things. You don't. So letting those expectations go as well feels to be really important. So as I'm tuning into your body, Kanti, I'm really being drawn to your hips, the area of your hips, but coming in around under your sacral chakra, so under your womb. And it feels like a shallow bowl, like a bird bath, kind of very shallow dish or a shallow bowl that is sitting over your hips and sitting under your sacral chakra, your center just below your navel. This is your center for emotional, sexual, creative energies. And this bowl just caresses here. It's not... it feels to me like it's not a deep bowl, so it's very shallow, so it's just supporting you very gently and very delicately here. It's got some water in it, so it tells me that there is some emotion that's connected in with this part of your path that's calling you, that maybe part of the resistance is part of your emotion or your fear, or maybe an anxiety about what might happen if you step out. You may not even know how to step out or what this looks like in your life, and this may add to some sort of emotional or mental confusion as well. But you're being encouraged to just sit in this bowl, like this bird bath here that sits here over your hips. So your hips are to stand and they hold this part of you in place, safe and secure and nurtured. And there is this strong sense of caring and this sort of strong sense of self. So a strong sense of who you are is coming through very strongly here as well, as you sit in these deep parts of yourself. So now running an energy down your legs. So I feel like the bowl is overflowing, like it's got two little lips on either side of the bowl, just over your hips, and the excess water, the excess liquid, which feels like it's coming in. So there's a trickle that's coming down into this bowl of watery energy, and it's overflowing and trickling out these two little lips, these spouts that come down over your hips and are trickling this water, this watery energy down your legs. So down through your knees, down through your lower legs, down your ankles, and down to your feet. And then this goes down into the bottom of your feet and starts collecting. It starts collecting in the tips of your toes, like your feet are empty. And it starts collecting in here, this liquid, but it's now feeling very crystalline, vibrant, glowing, very a bright liquid, almost like a liquid light. And it's filling up your toes. The ends of your toes now, all of them on both feet, feel very golden and luminous as your feet just very slowly collect and receive this energy, this liquid light that's coming down from this bowl that's sitting over your hips. So as that continues to fill up and this just really gently and slowly happens, I just want to feel for where this trickle is coming from above. And where's the trickle coming from that's going into the bowl? And it feels like it's pouring down from your heart. So your heart feels more like a bulbous, full bowl, like a really beautiful shaped, rounded bowl. And it has like this little hole, which feels like a little tap on it, a little tap kind of thing. And this tap feels like it's just slightly on. So it's just trickling this love and this energy down into your sacral chakra, into this bowl where it's collecting and then overflowing and filling up now your body from your toes all the way up your legs to your hips. And that's what I feel like it's going to do. This liquid light is going to continue to fill all your legs up, like your legs and your feet. All of that area is empty, like a empty open vessel, and it's been filled up with this liquid light. So just nice and slowly, but it's all going to fill up all the way up to this bowl that's sitting there at your hips. So your hips are collecting a lot too once the energy gets up to here. And by the time it gets to your hips, it feels very golden, like a really rich golden light. Almost orange, it's so gold. So really rich golden light here by the time it gets to your hips to really hold you. Now that golden energy is very much about your power, your courage, your confidence, your sense of assertiveness and self-knowledge or self-understanding, knowing who you are. Feels like it comes with this liquid light. So it's helping you feel stronger and more certain about who you are and trusting in yourself. So your heart is full and your heart is gifting or giving or releasing or emitting this energy out as a trickle down from your heart down to your sacral chakra. So there is something very strong here connected with your heart and very strongly connected with your sacral chakra. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's linked in with your emotional energy and also creativity is the feeling. So I trust that makes sense, Kanti. Let's grab a card here to see what this wants to add. So the best card to add here to finish this up for you, Kanti, is this here. Blossoming, card 34. It's in the action category too. And down here it says, self-growth, plant the new, you're actively growing. Open physical discomfort as you grow, a bit like a physical transformation. It's time to activate who you truly are and let it shine. And I love that word, activate. And in some ways it feels like that's what we've been doing. Activating this part of you, helping you remember and activate this strength within yourself, this strength, even though you don't know where you're going or how things are going to look, your future self does. And it seems to me like your future self knows that it's pretty amazing where you're going. So your future self is wanting you to go that way. It wants you to push out of your comfort zone a little bit or a lot so that you can follow that path and follow that direction. So you're activating yourself, and really in many ways you're journeying towards wherever it is that you're going. Your future self knows where that is, and soon at some point that's going to be revealed to you as well. So thanks, Kanti. I trust this supports you. Namaste. Thanks for your support. Okay, let's see. Who's next? Okay, so going back to the dragon power. Next person is this person. And it's Jayne. So I don't know if you're still here, Jayne, but Jayne, it's you. So nice big breath. And let's see what's loudest in your vibration today. First of all, it's feeling a bit hard to breathe and very compressed in the heart. So the heart, your heart energy feels very compressed. I think that's probably the best word, compressed, constricted. Great. I'm so glad that you're here. Excellent. So it feels like things are caving in over your heart. It's making it very difficult to breathe energetically. So let's just grab a card, and I'm starting to feel a lot of head pressure. So there's a lot that you're concerned about or worried about here too that's connected most likely with this constrictive, compressed energy. So just take some nice big breaths. And the best card to start this connection is this. It's Protected, card 74. It's in the neutral category here. And down here it says, stand strong, safety, protect yourself, your loved ones, and your property. A protective force field has been activated around you. Isn't that funny? That word activated has come up again. Step back, temporary. This is a temporary, unstable time, and the storm will pass. So this is really important for you to know that you are protected. There's not even really any asking required, because it's just like a knowing and a trust that I'm protected while I go through this shaky time, this vulnerable time. So that energy is coming in really strongly. Now I'm being drawn back to your head energy. So it still feels very compressed and, compressed here over your heart and your lungs. But connected with that is a heaviness that's coming in around your head, especially around your third eye chakra. So it feels like trust issues are coming up as well. But this is a very mental energy that's sitting in here. It's almost like you've got a really tight motorcycle helmet on. You know how they're just really tight and cushioned? It feels very tight and very heavy and almost pressured through here on a mental level. So there's lots potentially that's worrying you or stressing you, or that's got you heavily thinking heavily in your mental space. So the first thing I want to do is take off this sort of motorcycle helmet and this pressure that's hanging around here over your head, and it's connected to whatever's going on here that's very close to your heart. And it makes me feel, just before I take this off, it makes me feel like your heart is weeping as well. So it feels like it weeps endless tears 24/7, day and night. It feels very hurt in your heart. And so very compressed and very pressured, like you're almost like your heart, if it was a cave, that the cave is caving in. So it feels very difficult to breathe and really know for certain potentially where you're going. So that's what I'm feeling. So I want to come back down to your heart in a minute. But let's start. We need to just take this pressure off your head. And so the motorcycle helmet-like energy, it's very heavy, especially around the forehead as well. But actually also, so in this area that comes from around the forehead, that comes around over your ears and around the base of your skull. So the base of your skull is the back of your third eye chakra. So that tells me past trust issues are also rearing up now, most likely. So let's take this pressure off like a motorcycle helmet. We lift it up on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, lifting this off, bringing it over, and just dropping it to the ground. There was a feeling here just before it dropped, but not enough for me to really talk about at the time. There was just this slight feeling of needing to hold on to this. So be careful you're not in some way invested in or needing to hold on to your own burdens or your own trust issues for whatever reason. You know, sometimes I've seen people feel bitter and blaming and angry about what's happened. So in some ways they keep that energy in place, even though they don't want to have it there. So there was this slight moment where I felt like, oh, I just want to keep holding it, but that wasn't strong enough to even talk about it at the time. So we've dropped that down. That has just shattered like a glass ball, like a crystal ball that's just shattered down to the ground. And that has now been released. So all those shards of glass are just soaking into the earth, where it just returns back to love and back to energy. And it's already feeling lighter and clearer here. And in fact, I can feel this energy that feels fuzzy, like, like a static electricity. That's what it feels like now all around your head, like this static, fuzzy, almost electric energy that's coming in on a mental level. And it feels like it's occupying all that space where that sort of motorcycle helmet was, but that heaviness isn't there anymore. And this fuzzy energy feels good because it feels like there's sparks or electricity or things, like it feels like electric pathways, currents that are activating again in your mind. And this is especially important if and as you're looking at improving areas of your life that you're struggling with, that it's very hard to get into that mindset if you're extremely worried and stressed out. So with that burden released, it's like the pathways, the electrical currents, those electrical connections in your mind and in your brain are activating again. It's like there's a charge of electricity happening here. So this is going to be potentially more favorable for you to come up with ideas and plans and solutions in regards to your current situation. So that's coming in. There's energy here like electricity that's swirling down like a spiral into your third eye chakra here at the front and also into your third eye chakra here at the back. And it feels like a zap of energies, very electric up here, that's connecting these two elements together. So the front and the base of the skull, the back of the third eye, are being charged up together. And I feel as the pathways strengthen that go down into your skull from here to here, it's like bridging a gap, because it feels like the electricity is needed to kind of bring these two sides together again, if this makes sense. So it feels like it's zapping in here, but it's working on bridging in the middle, or bridging these two together with this zappy electricity. So that the pathway, that channel, that bridge between the front and the back of your third eye chakra becomes clearer, and a really clear bridge and a clear pathway between itself, instead of feeling severed and disconnected and dead. Because it does feel, how like there's this electric life force, and if the electric life force isn't moving through all the circuit properly, it can feel like that part of the circuit is dead, it's lifeless, it's got no electricity, and that's what it feels like. And there's some important connection here between the front and the back of your third eye. And this is especially in activating your intuition in a real practical way, and also clearing trust issues and resolving those trust issues in a way that empowers you. So to help empower your ability to trust in yourself and to trust in the universe and to trust in your intuition. And it feels like there's a lot of intuition there, but there's not a lot of potential, I want to say in some ways, accuracy or practicality to that intuition. So it makes me feel very doubting, like second guessing the intuition, because it's proven many times to be wrong, if that makes sense. So it's very hard to trust something that's repetitively shown it to be wrong. And your intuition is right, but there's just this disconnect somehow, this death in some ways, this dead part that connects or should be or could be connecting with your trust. So I feel trust really is the key here. And this is shifting and you're learning a lot from that. But let's move down to your heart. So your heart feels compressed and it definitely feels like it's weeping. Just a single tear, like almost, it's almost like every second or something, every 4 seconds, but it's like on cue, it's on time, it's ongoing. Just this weep. It's like, you know, the Mother Mary statue just weeping a tear, and it weeps a tear and it weeps a tear. And this is coming from your heart. And I feel like it's coming from the compression. You know, like if you squeeze something so hard, it's going to end up sort of squeezing out its juices. And that's sort of what this feels. It's like, you know, people say you can't get blood or water from a stone, but it almost feels like, you know, compressed so hard you could probably squeeze out a drip. So there is something here that's really compressing on the sides and caving in, a really big caving in feeling. So let's open up your heart and help you feel safe in the heart to be able to trust yourself and to be able to trust in your intuition and to be able to trust in where you're going in life and the decisions that you make as well. So I feel like it feels like a big nut, like a walnut is sort of the image that's coming to mind. A large walnut, which is a bit like a caved in feeling, but it feels very compressed and tight. But it's got a seam like a walnut, and the seam's running down the middle and around the back. And I feel like I want to crack open this shell, this walnut, if you like, this casing, this cave that I feel here inside your heart. It's creating so much compression in your heart, in your lungs, and in this whole area of yourself, of your being. So cracking open, pulling it open with force, but it does open. So we cracked it open at the front, cracking it open at the back, and pulling these shell parts apart. Now, these shells are like a protection in some ways, a coating, but I feel like they are restrictive at the same time. So it's like, you know, sometimes we need to be on guard to protect ourselves, but then we keep that going when we don't need to be so much on guard anymore. So it feels like this doesn't need to be so protected. So pulling this apart, it's a bit like opening up a piano accordion or one of those, you know, those musical instruments, that the small version of the piano accordion, but they've got the, you know, you kind of go like this with. That's what it feels like we've just opened here. And then I want to just grab these ends of the instrument or these walnut shells and drop them to the ground. And here they just return back to love as well, soaking into the earth. And here you're left stretched open and vulnerable in some ways. It feels like your organs have all been exposed, like your innards are hanging out. So it feels very vulnerable, very fragile here, but it feels expanded already, like really quite wide here in your heart. Not so much this way, but definitely widening. So feel this stretch that's coming through your heart and your lungs, and feel how much better that feels than be all tight and covered and constricted here. Now, as this is opened, the tears stop weeping out of that little crack of like the walnut shell. The weeping stops and the opening happens here. And as the weeping stops, the exposed innards, the feeling of exposed innards, that vulnerability that's kind of exposed here, that starts to settle. And now I see your skin coming up over this area, like your skin, like in other parts of your body that are quite okay and quite in balance. Your skin just grows over here as a natural protection instead of a really tight, forceful, on guard sort of retreat back protection. So this is feeling really nice, and I feel like it's starting to kind of soften here as well. It felt very hard before, so it's really softening, and it's stretching also through your shoulders. So your whole shoulders, you could almost stretch your arms out if you can, and just feel that pull, that stretch on the vertical, that stretch on that expansion sort of energy that's coming through. And so it's stretching out, and I feel the energy moving from your heart, and it's coming through your shoulders, through your arms, and out to your hands. So your hands are very active right now with healing energy and a lot of energy moving out of your hand. So you might find you want to do this a lot today or over these next couple of days. Really stretch out in that area and feel your heart open and expand and widen. So this healing energy feels like it wants to go out into your life. So you can use your hands now on your body where you need it, but you can also use it to help give you the energy that you need to change the things that need changing in your life, the physical things that require your attention, your hands to do whatever your hands need to do. So I trust this makes sense, Jayne. Let's grab a card here to see what it wants to add. Nice big breath. Oh my goodness, it's already so much easier to breathe. So just settle into this new energy. And we'll add this card here. Okay, synchronistic order, card 62. It's in the rest category. And down here it says, constructed, built, structure, hard work, durable and stable building, order, hindsight, looking back, stability and support, things lining up, and the signs. So this is talking about something that's already built, some structure that's around you, something that's constructed. This is not building something. It's not constructing something. It's suggesting that the structure is already there somehow. So there's structure that's present that you're being reminded about or encouraged to look at in a different way. And the synchronicity of this feels really important as well. So there's signs and synchronicities that are lining the structures up for you in your physical life right now. So trust in the synchronistic order. You've got highlight again around your third eye chakra here. You've got the eye as also in the protected card. This one's green for healing and change and growth. And this one is purple. This is you now with already increased trust in yourself and trust in your intuition. Trust in the decisions that you make, and there's really strong spiritual connections that are coming through. So you can trust in the order, the synchronicity, the signs that are all around you at this time. So I trust this resonates, Jayne. Thank you so much for your support. Namaste. Okay, let's grab a drink and we'll see who's next. Oh, thanks, Jayne. I'll have a read of your comment a bit later. Oh my goodness, that is so nice. Nice, cool water. Okay, let's see who's next. We've got 3 more people. 3 people on the list, and the next person is Carol White. Carol, please take a nice big breath. And your card to begin this connection is this. Yeah, we have a spirit message, card 12. This is funny because this is also about signs and synchronicities. Pay attention to the signs and synchronicities. Your intuition is awakening. Listen to the guidance within, and your spiritual team support you. And there's lots of activity. Now, Jayne, if you're still watching, there feels to be lots of, this is a lot like that electricity that I was talking about that I was talking about before. So this is really interesting too, potentially for you. But for you, Carol, this is trusting in the signs and the synchronicities, that everything is kind of working its way out. It's working its self into position, if you like, behind the scenes. So let's tune in, Carol, and see what's going on in your body. Okay, you've got a big V shape of energy that's flowing down from above. It's just actually like where my arms are, and coming down in here to your heart, like this. So like that, if you can imagine, a big V shape. And the V shape is very sacred. It's the sacred feminine symbol. It's about the chalice as well. It's about healing. So it's about going deeper into yourself, but especially deeper into your heart. So your heart is calling you into a deeper place of connection, and really considering how you can make time for this depth of connection that's calling you. So, and it's the time that feels really valuable around this. So you might find in the next sort of week that you just really feel like you want to quietly connect, and it might be through meditation or just contemplating. It might be going out into nature or listening to your favorite music or something, but there is some real deep connection that is calling you, and it wants you to make time to connect with it. And within this space of connection, within this almost private time of depth calling that you have, there's something quite interesting, I feel, that's going to be revealed. And I feel like it's potentially like an idea being sparked, or a new perspective of something that occurs that you didn't think of in that way before. But there is a bit of an epiphany potentially, or a penny dropping on a situation that you've maybe been uncertain about or not really even thought much about. So there's something deep that wants to come in here into your heart. And as I'm talking about this and making time for it and all this stuff that's potentially going to open up for you, I can feel this V shape. It's coming in deeper now. So it's moving down from your heart down into your solar plexus chakra just above your navel. And this is your power center. So it's like bringing a mysterious, unknown, abstract energy that's formless at this point. It's like through your private or your quiet interaction or connection that's going to like bring this abstract, formless thing into form. As it drops down into your solar plexus chakra, it's like giving it life somehow. It's like giving it something, a tangibility, a form, feeling being formed somehow in a practical, tangible way. Instead of, at this point, I feel that whatever this is, it's a hovering energy that's more abstract and formless. So it's like invisible. And as you connect and take the time to do this and let whatever wants to be revealed here be revealed, it's going to turn the invisible into visible. It's going to make something unknown become a little bit more known. Something that you didn't understand before becomes understandable. So there is something that's transitioning from a very abstract lack of form kind of energy that's going to potentially be coming into something more practical and more tangible for you, is the feeling as it moves down into your solar plexus chakra. And it's moving energy here in your throat as well. So there's probably going to be some truth that needs to be faced that's connected here. Your solar plexus chakra, your power center, feels a little bit eager, but on the other hand, a bit afraid of the idea and the potential of what's coming. It reminds me a bit of the feeling that I had at the beginning of the year when we were thinking about moving house. And on one hand, I was really excited because it felt so strong and like the right thing to do. But on the other hand, I was a little bit afraid as well because things were changing. Was this going to work out okay? You know, were we going to find the right place? Where were we going to live? All these types of questions that I had, which made me feel excited on one hand, but also a bit afraid on the other. And that's a bit of a feeling that I have here as well, especially as the energy moves down into your solar plexus chakra and as into your power center, as things are kind of tested and the reality of things kind of kicks into place. You might find yourself feeling a little torn. You know, well, actually, I know where I'm at now. So this is my known place, even though I may not like it. It's known, it's secure in some ways. But on this other hand, there is an insecurity and a sense of fear that comes from the potential change that I'm thinking about. That's the space that I feel here. So with that comes an activation and a twisting of energy here, like a twist or a squeeze of lemon here at your throat chakra. As you're being, as things are changing and as things are shifting inside, it's like helping you access your truth as well, like what you really, really want here moving forward. And this feels really important because the energy, I don't know if you can feel it, has settled. So as soon as I said, once you connect with what you really want, then it feels like that is like the piece of the puzzle that has perhaps been missing It's going to lock a piece of puzzle into place once you realize what you really want. And then that's going to help open that door and get that ball rolling. So you can trust in the synchronicities and signs as you are being led there, but also I would be really looking at seeing if you can make time in the next week or two to be somewhere quiet, to meditate, to connect with nature, to sit quietly with yourself, because I feel like this is the key to connecting with this deep energy. So let's see which card we need to add here, and we'll add this to finish up, which is this, reconnection, card 20. It's in the rise category, and down here it says, release the separation issues that have you feeling disconnected, alone, or at conflict with yourself. Your crown chakra is opening. Look beyond what you see. So this is like key, because we can just continue going around in life, doing this, doing that, and then dealing with things inside that we're not really allowing time to connect with. So I see that looking beyond what you see is really giving yourself permission to make the time that you need to connect with the things that you're not seeing, and the things that you're curious about, and the things that you feel thirsty for, the things that are sitting and brewing inside you. Can you make time to connect with those things that are more abstract, that are sitting inside? So I trust that makes sense, Carol. Thanks so much for allowing me to connect with you, and thank you for your support. Namaste. Okay, we've got two more people here. Two more people. This headpiece, which I'm not used to wearing, keeps creeping down, it feels like. Maybe I'm going like this and just like it's walking down. Okay, next person is Susan Sonsteng. Susan, please take a nice big breath, and let's see what comes up for you today. Okay, so there's a feeling of there's something happening in the solar plexus at the moment, like an itchy, scratchy, shrinking, tight feeling, shrivelly feeling. Okay, so the best card to start here for Susan is this here. Oh, card 99, remove the mask. It's in the depth category, and it says, reveal the truth, uncovered, stop masking, real, don't pretend or distract yourself, be honest, deep healing, true power emerging, and probably the most important words of the whole thing, show yourself. Show yourself. And the most important person to show yourself to is you. And this feels quite important here. Are you showing your true and fullest self to you? Because there is a feeling here of that hesitation, holding back, waiting back sort of feeling. Are you letting yourself see yourself? Are you letting you see you? So as I'm talking about this, the energy, the shriveled up sort of energy that I'm feeling here in your solar plexus chakra is starting to shift as well. In fact, it's starting to twist. And it's a bit like, okay, so the shriveled feeling feels like, you know, like a puppy, or a puppy that's going to be a big puppy, and it's got all like wrinkly skin. That's what it feels like. It feels like a wrinkled skin, like a wrinkled animal or human skin that's all wrinkled and shriveled. So it's really pulled in. So actually it shows that it feels young, we could say, or small, but it also feels like there's room for growth and room for expansion, just like with a little puppy of a Rottweiler that's going to be a big dog, but it's very kind of wrinkly. It's got all this skin that it's got to grow into. So it feels like there is skin here for you to grow into, especially on a power level. So power, personal power, confidence, courage, strength, determination, also in some elements, your ability to focus and your ability to kind of lead yourself places, so lead yourself in life. I feel like there's room here for growth. And it's showing me just with this sort of wrinkled, shriveled sort of up skin, it doesn't feel like an old shriveling. It feels more like a youthful wrinkle that wants to grow and it wants to expand. And it feels like in some ways that your solar plexus chakra, your power is pulled in, and then all that skin is like just like loosely covering it. So what I feel like I want to do is bring your solar plexus chakra out from the inside. So I feel like I'm imagining on the inside of your solar plexus chakra, just above your navel, is like a tiny little sphere, or not tiny, it's probably the size of one of those large marbles, of like a sun that's sitting in here in your solar plexus. And I'm kind of pulling it, I want to pull it out from the inside, out to the front, but also out to the back, and really bring and help grow your power from the inside. This inner sun, this inner light that is you. It's your essence. It's your life force. It's you. And so really letting that come to the front and to the back, and basically letting this sun inside your solar plexus chakra grow. So as I'm imagining pulling it out, it's pulling out like about the size now of a baseball or a tennis ball, then a baseball, and it's just stretching, and we're just really almost like blowing it or coaxing or massaging or pulling this sphere, this sun inside you out, and letting it grow. So it's now a bit like a small basketball and growing into a basketball, and just really letting it now start to push out, especially through the front of your solar plexus, but also the back and all the surrounds. So it's like a sphere. So as it starts sort of crowning, it sort of feels like it's crowning here, coming out from your solar plexus, like your solar plexus now is like a birth canal or a birth opening. And this power, this ball, this sun is like a baby's head that's preparing to crown. So it's pushing out, and there's still this skin here covering. So it's not an opening as such. It feels like an open area, but it's got this wrinkled sort of youthful skin over the top that I talked about before, like an animal, a puppy skin. And it just pushing this sphere out and opening it and growing it is crowning it here, but it's also pushing out now. So it's pushing out and it's starting to stretch out a bit of this loose skin sort of energy. So pushing out and expanding, and pushing out and expanding. And this loose skin is expanding as well. It's stretching, it's opening all around you. It feels strongest at the front, but all around this whole band where your solar plexus chakra is. So now this sphere, this sun-like energy of your solar plexus feels really quite big. So, sort of maybe about as wide as your shoulders. Yeah, about as wide as your shoulders sitting in here. And it's glowing in this sort of radiance of a very soft gold. It's a balanced power. It's not dominating, controlling, manipulative, I'm better than you kind of power. It's not that way. It's not forceful. It feels like a soft power, like a compassion and empathy, a softness to the power, a vulnerability even in this power. So just letting it settle now into this size that it's happy to be, about the width of your shoulders, as it's pushed out this skin that felt very wrinkled and youthful is now stretched and almost at capacity. I feel like there's still room for expansion, but I feel like I'm happy with where it's at now. So this, I feel like, giving you power and courage and confidence and the strength that you need to face what you're facing at this time in your life, and to also help you access yourself, to help you show yourself in a confident way, a confident but humble way, let's say. So that's where this energy feels like it's coming from. So that's what I feel strongly in your energy, Susan. I trust this resonates. Let's grab a card to see what we need to add here. And the best card to add to finish this off is, it's this here. Oh, look at this. And you have the, look, this is the ball in your belly that we've just done. This is the sun in your belly. And it's called New Beginnings, card 75. It's in the action category. And it's the bulge here at the front, exactly where I felt it to be. Probably more, not quite so full outways, but more rounded sort of through here. But this is very similar to what I've been feeling. And it's right there at your solar plexus chakra. So this is a great validation. It says to walk forward with courage, fullness, ripe, fertile, the harvest, birth, a bright future ahead, the unknown, uncertainty, prepared, ready, and take action. So there is a forward movement here. There is a courage and a confidence and a strength to face the unknown, or to move into new territory, or move onto a new part of your path. So new beginnings, and the image is perfect. Thanks, Susan. Thank you for allowing me to connect with you today. I trust this resonates, and thank you so much for your support. Namaste. Okay, and the last person I'm connecting with is Andrea. Don't know why I shook it. Doesn't matter, does it? Andrea Stuart. So Andrea, please take a nice big breath, and let's see what is loudest in your vibration today. So the first thing I'm feeling is things feel a bit scattered, and especially down your sides, which is weird. So it's not quite under your arms, but let's say down to probably the bottom of your rib cage at the sides. From here down to almost down to your knees feels scattered. And it's kind of a weird feeling to describe, but it feels like it's all fragmented somehow. Like that, this part of your body on both sides feels like it's broken up into pixels, like it's fragmented. It feels quite scattered and is it unconsolidated? Yeah. Okay, let's just grab a card and then we'll tune in here and see what else we need to talk about. It's also bringing up a pain, like a tightness here in your lower back, and also deep inside your solar plexus, this fragmentation, this kind of breaking apart feeling. Oh, you've got the Phoenix, Rise of the Phoenix. So this says take everything to the next level, rebirth, new life, let go, emerge as your real you. You create galaxies through your actions and intentions, and expand. So this is a great card to get, and it shows that you're going through a personal transformation now, and things that you've long known, things about yourself that you thought or that were true for you are changing. So there is a feeling of like, almost like you're disintegrating yourself, your old self, and you're coming together again in a new way. And it feels like this has started. So like a defragmentation sort of thing is happening, and I'm seeing it and feeling it very evident here on your sides, and the energy that's moving like that really tightly deep inside, especially in your lower back and your solar plexus. And there's a feeling of wanting to hold on to a part of yourself that needs to be almost disintegrated, you know, almost like if you could erase yourself fully out and then recreate yourself, you know, like it's a bit like an artist that you might see creating a picture of a person on a blackboard, and that represents who you've been probably almost your whole life, or at least your whole adult life up until this point, because I feel like now parts of you are being rubbed out, and this is creating like a this defragmentation, this kind of disintegrating sort of energy that's sort of pixelating you, and you're changing somehow. And so it's like parts of you being rubbed out. As parts of you are being rubbed out, it's like a part of you wants to hold tighter onto the part of you that is changing, which is almost everything, except you're wiser now than you were before. But almost everything you've known about yourself is changing, and there is this almost a panic, a survival thing inside that is a part of you that wants to hold on tighter because of the fear of the unknown. Now, as parts of you are being rubbed out, parts of who you were, the person you were, the role that you played is probably changing as you're being rubbed out and defragmented. There's a heavy energy coming in around your head. So I feel like there's probably a fair bit on your mind, or a lot of perhaps stress or burden or concern here that's sort of weighing down mentally. It's also coming down over your eyes. So there might be a part of you that's trying to avoid the inevitable or avoid this new phase that you're moving into. It's not really unlike, you know, all your whole adult life up until this point has been you being the caterpillar. And now you're kind of preparing to move into the cocoon and form this chrysalis and change and emerge as the butterfly in the weeks and maybe even months to come, because this feels like a big transitional period. So it's almost like a massive transformation as you let parts, in fact, almost all of yourself disintegrate and transform into something new that fits who you've become based on all of the wisdom and experience that you've gained, and you've gained a lot. So maybe what I feel might be worth doing here is sitting with your journal when you have a quiet moment and really thinking about who you are. So what has your life experience taught you? How have you become stronger based on the trials and challenges of life that you've had to overcome, the suffering that you've been through, that you've had to transform into a strength? So I'd be maybe writing down all these things that you have become based on at least your adult life, and those things that you want to carry with you into this next phase that you're transforming into. And then as you keep that information, as you get clearer about it and see it maybe on paper, then that might help you also really let go of everything else of who you thought you were or who you had to be back in, you know, a couple of years ago or a few decades ago, because there's a lot of that part that wants to release. But be careful you're not sort of grasping on and holding on too tight. So let your hold go, let things change, let things transform, because you're moving into a beautiful time in your life. In fact, I feel like in many ways you're moving into the best phase of your life that you've had to date. But it may be in the weeks or even the months of transition. So things are shifting. There is almost a feeling here of, you know, moving out of that mother energy and into sort of the elder crone sort of energy. There's that sort of feeling here of transition and bringing the wisdom that you've gained from your life into this next new phase that you're moving through. And this really fits with this caterpillar butterfly feeling and this feeling of kind of things being scattered and things kind of shaking and shifting away. So yeah, I trust this resonates. Very interesting, Andrea. So just be careful you're not holding on too tightly. It's probably the best advice I can give you. And let things almost break apart inside you. This is about you. So you might seek reflecting out in parts of your life, but this is very much a personal thing. It feels very private and probably something you're doing quite on your own. But it feels like this is something that others have gone through before, which makes me feel like that kind of transition from mother to crone elder is sort of that energy too that feels like it's at play. You're not alone in this transition. It's happened before for many. So speak to people too who have gone through that, who you would like some advice from. But yeah, if you can move with it as best as you can, I feel like this is going to be really helpful, and let your hold go of holding on to your youth, let's say, or holding on to how things were or that role that you did play. It's just shifting into a new role. So let's see which card wants to add here, Andrea. And the best card is this, which is this. Cellular Change. This is so funny, actually. Card 37. It's in the depth category. And down here it says anchoring light. And we could also say change anchoring change and light into your physical body. So your physical body is literally changing. This is not, this is probably a feeling or an instinct or a phase that you're going through too, but it's actually quite physical. So you might feel, it could even be like a menopause thing as well, but you're probably feeling it quite physically in your body. Love, healing on a cellular level. So deep down in your cells, things are changing. Union, merge, whole, complete, high vibrations. This is high energy, and yin yang. So this is the balance that's coming in. So things are transitioning and shifting and changing on a very deep cellular level for you. And really about this card, it's about the balance, but also the really deep healing that's taking place. But the balance, the yin yang, the union, the masculine, feminine, the sun and the moon, the dark and the light, all this kind of polarities coming together. It's even like a magnet, like magnetic north, magnetic south, and this energy coming together. And this is what's changing the very cells of your body. So do your best to flow with it and move with it. Find time to rest as you need to, and go really gently with yourself in the days where you may be struggling. But it feels like this transition, this transformation is very powerful, and will leave you coming out like a butterfly once you get through it. So I trust this resonates with you, Andrea, and sending you lots of love. Thank you so much for your support, and namaste. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. I trust you've enjoyed this connection. I will be back the end of next month for our next similar healing session, our personal healing event for patrons. If you'd like to be a part of it next month, then please have a look on my Patreon page. Have a look at the link below. It should be there somewhere. Thanks, Jayne. Have a look on the link, because that will take you to the options. So at the $50 level, you have access to this particular healing event, plus there's lots of others that come before it. So yeah, see what you think, and have a great rest of your day. I'll be back to share with you again soon. And the healing event for Friday is planting the seeds for new beginnings. We do it every September. So I look forward to that. I've got things prepared and brewing and fertilizing, ready for planting these seeds for you. So I may see you then. Take care of yourself. Have a great day, and lots of love.